now that you've been part of a lot of races, I'm sure there will be some great races which you fondly remember.
Yeah.
What was your best race?
I think my first podium in the UK, it was 2019 in the Aston Martin racing in Brands Hatch GP circuit. So I qualified second, dropped back, and then we finished second. But it was my stint, which was about 31 minutes. I had this guy in third place behind me. And in GT racing, we have something called BOP, balance of performance, where they try to make all the manufacturers as equal as possible, right? So the car behind me had a better BOP, means he was faster on a lap, and our BOP was not that favorable. So my job on paper on that thing, he was a bit quicker. So the 31 minutes I had him behind me. And it's a difficult circuit because a lot of fast corners and there's a few blind also. So one wrong turn in or one misjudgment, it's easy for him to pass. So I think it was nice that I kept my cool. I focused on just whatever was the max of my car. Because when you're under pressure, right, you start doing things extra. You brake a bit later, brake a bit harder. That puts more wear. Then you come back again. The grip is less. You're heating up more things. So it's just about how you need to drive like there's nobody on the track. So I think to the best of my ability, I drove in a very consistent zone. I knew where my car was faster in some parts, and I knew where I was slower. So wherever I was faster, I made sure I did that exact same thing. So I would gap him a bit, and then that gap would come down where he was faster. But yeah, that was a good race, finishing second and being on the podium.
That sounds fun, actually. Even when we have not been on the racetrack, the maximum we can be is on the simulator on the game. So we know how it feels like. So that's great. Now, of course, Motorsport has their own advantages and disadvantages, and crashes being one of the biggest fear of every driver. So, was there a big crash in your career?
I don't think it's fear of every driver; it's the fear of every driver's mom. That's it. I don't think we're scared. I mean, I don't think any sportsman, Virat Kohli, the ball's coming fast. Nobody's scared, but people around you and the loved ones are scared that what if, and all. So, but saying that cars are very safe. Today, I had one big crash which was in Korea, in India, where because of some wrong signaling on track from the marshals, there was a car stuck on the middle of the circuit, and I was not notified. And then I ended up colliding with him, and the car became two pieces. So then I damaged, lightly fractured, that's what the medical term is, discs on my back. That took about 6 months or 5 months, but it was fine. I think it was scary because when I hit him from front on, I thought my legs are gone. And then it was pain and adrenaline, and I thought that's it. There's nothing from here. But as soon as I undid my belts and then they helped me get out, I was standing, so I knew my legs were there, and there's no blood, so I knew nothing broke or nothing bleeding. So I was like, okay. My back was paining. I said, okay. It was curable, and it's one of those where that brace, it has to heal erect, all that. But but today cars are very safe. People are flipping, crashing, smashing, and 99% they come out uninjured. So that's something the FI is really focused on. I think 5 years ago when the Halo came out, people were saying it was not very aesthetic, it broke this and all, but today it saved a lot of
especially Roman crash.
So many.
Now that FI, basically F1, they're slightly making it more eco-friendly, trying to limit the tire change and trying to limit the fuel and everything. Before it was all 3-4 stops. So how does that impact on your race driver skill?
See, the fuel stuff doesn't make any sense. You go a bit faster or slower, so you don't do anything. The tires, you're making it a bit harder, so you're not changing a lot. That means it actually doesn't make a difference because you're just racing more. Because the more stops means more strategy. If you know that a race can be done on one stop, you start on a tire A, and if you're starting on a soft, there's a window. Starting on a medium, there's a window. Starting on a hard, there's a window. Only variable is a safety car comes out or a virtual safety car comes out. So it's good in a way that because they think we pollute a lot, but they're racing for like 1.5 hours. They must be racing for like what 500 hours or 600 hours in like a year. But yes, the logistics cost because there are 10 team staff all around the world. There's all these kind of background kind of pollution happening.
Okay.
So, but coming to the cars, I think they're making it more ethanol and less fuel, and that ratio is changing. We're getting in more electric power. The problem with electric power is it makes the car heavier, which in turn makes the car need more fuel.
Yeah.
So let them figure it out.
Now, being a racing driver,
Yeah.
you just can't be focused only on your racing part. You need to be a part of the team.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you have a seat for the next year.
Yeah.
Now, how important is the team dynamics in that aspect?
Yeah, I mean, in anything in India or Europe, it's the same. Just the people and color change. It's a little bit like it's like mildly sucking up to majorly sucking up, depending on the team. You have to definitely, if you have a personality, it has to stretch whatever it is. If you're introverted, you have to go more extroverted, and because you got to be in contact, you got to meet, and today in digital world, you got to keep posting. You got to be there. Your face should be known. You got to be seen. You got to be engaged. The driving part is one thing, but you want people to be like, hey, he's a nice guy. It'd been great to work with him. But today, if two people are equal on paper, you pick the guy who is, nicer, cooler, and all that, right? You don't want a guy who's like, yeah, he can only drive a car and go. Maybe that works for Max, but Max is Max. But today you want a package, right?
Yeah.
Somebody will, like say Charles or something, right? He can go do modeling for Giorgio Armani. He can be Ray-Ban brand ambassador. He can do a Paris fashion show. He can do like a Shell advertisement. He can do like anything and still drive a car fast. So yeah, you need to be like.
So PR needs to be on point.
Yeah, and it's also your skills and your speaking, right? Because most of these sponsors, they'll inevitably call you to come and speak. So having that clarity and communication and language is also important.
So India is slowly trying to push towards the motorsport.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the future of Indian motorsport?
The future is looking bright. We're getting a track in Bangalore. It should be ready at the end of 2024, early 2025. We are getting a track in Pune, which should be ready 2025. There's a new track ready in Coimbatore, waiting to be certified. Maybe a track coming in Andhra, I think. So a lot more racing tracks coming, which will really open up. So saying that if the tracks open, if you can start doing track days, which means you can bring your car and drive, certain rules and regulations. So it's slowly, it's like imagine we had 3 cricket stadiums, right? There's only that much cricket you can play.
Yeah.
So now that we're just going 2-fold, 3-fold, 5-fold, where we're getting from like 1 circuit to 2 and 3, now we're getting like 6, 7. So that will really increase it, and it's nice that it's spread out. So and I think in the Indian Racing League, one really good thing they've done is street races. Because today, if you're a Formula 1 fan, you probably become a Formula 1 fan like from 4 years ago when the Netflix was started.
Yeah.
So now everyone knows there's some car team goes around. There's some understanding. Now when you get a racing event in the city in the middle, engagement is so much more higher.
Yeah.
And that keeps the ecosystem running. Viewership, TV, engagement, and the show running.
Now, like you said, the engagement and viewership. Now, sponsorship is also an important part.
Yeah.
So, if someone wants to become a race driver, what is the ideal way to get that sponsorship for them?
So again, it's different person to person, right? It's also different age to age. If you're go-karting, that's probably the hardest because what have you achieved? What credentials do you have? What do you go and tell your sponsor, right? So I think there is some amount of investment where you have to do and say, hey, I've done this championship, I've come in the top 5. I want to go do this championship where I believe I can come in the top 5, and this is the cost needed. In return, I'll give you so and so. So it's how you pitch your value proposition, right? I think, and today it doesn't matter if you're young or old, you are in the middle age, right? There's always some brand looking for like an 8-year-old, 15-year-old, 20-year-old, 25-year-old. There's some engagement with some brands. So I think there is a bit of marketing, presentation skills, PowerPoint, able to understand people and be like, what are they looking for? There's a bit of like trying to get a girl, right? So like, what does she want? What are her interests? And then align with that, and you'll get sponsorship. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice comparison.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm not saying that you're done with your career, but of course, after a certain time, you will decide that I need to call it quits of my racing career. So after that, do you still want to be a part of the racing, world, or you want to move away from it?
So right now in my life, I raced internationally till last year, 2023. 2024 has been a little bit less racing as I've taken on some more work and responsibility. I do miss it every day. I wish I could race every day. But again, it's like now it's gone from professional to passion, because I was in like Ranji for like many years and I was stagnating. Then I didn't go to the next level for multiple reasons, and I'm content. I've raced a lot, raced many cars, raced on many tracks. I sleep well every night. I have no bad feelings, and it's I've come to terms with it. But I will race whenever I can, domestically or internationally, for my passion. But yeah, it's hard when I think it was easier for me because I could take that level of dedication and energy and focus and put it into something else. So I just shifted my domain from sport to work. So I just hope that when some people stop, it's very difficult because that's the only thing they know for like 10, 15, 20 years of their life.
Yeah.
And waking up, training, flying, training, competing, training, rest, all that. And suddenly, like, what do I do after this, right? The most sports people find it difficult. So that way, I guess the Indian system, most parents, they made sure I studied, they made sure I got a degree, they made sure I worked. All maybe it depends on who you ask. All I did simpler degrees, but I did something. So I didn't stop my education and professional journey. Even when I was finished my degree, I was working, but I had less load right, to a normal full-time job. But they said always keep that. Now it's just that now instead of like working less and racing more, it's just gone like that.
Yeah.
So I was very happy I could switch and shift focus and all that over there.
Yeah. So I think that way Indian parents are particular that that if this doesn't work, you need something to fall back on.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. And you touched upon the point about the training part.
Yeah.
Okay. Now for a racing driver, I'm sure they have to be at their fittest best.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both physically as well as mentally.
Yeah.
So what would be the routine for a race driver?
So first of all, they think racing, you don't need any fitness because you're driving a car round and round. And they're a bit like, oh, my dad drives to Ooty or Mysore. I mean, he drives 2 hours, so what is this all about? So, yeah, I mean, congrats to your dad, but yeah. Yeah. So, or your mom. So, this is just that it's like the best example I give is like a commercial jet pilot and a fighter jet pilot, right? The commercial jet guy also takes off, flies, lands. Fighter jet also does the same, but the speeds are different. The focus is different. And it's the same in racing, right? You are going 5-10 times faster than an average car. Decision making is there, and unlike the sky, there is racing cars with you, because there are other people at the same speed. So you need that focus and clarity. One is a mental thing. Second is preparation, right? You're using a little bit of muscle for a long period of time. So it's high. It's a muscle endurance. It's not like strength. It's not like rugby or something where you're using a lot of muscle, a lot of strength at like a short burst, right? Or jumping or anything. So it's like I'm doing this movement where forearms, bicep, shoulder, chest, back, everything is working with some resistance, but for like a long period of time. And everything in your body, right? Your core is always working because of the G-forces. Your brake is very difficult because in cars, in road cars, it's called boosted. You touch it and you stop. In racing cars, it's not boosted. You're hitting like 80 bar, 90 bar, 150 bar. 150 bar is like a leg press 150 bar. That's how. Then you're not doing it. You're doing it like 6-7 times every lap into how many laps the race is. So I would say it's a full body engagement, and moreover, it's also you're in a very tight position, right? So it's not free. So with your tightness, you have to make sure your muscle is working and getting, and delivering. That's why you see a lot of racing drivers that have a lot of marks and sprains. The taller you are is a problem. So you're always trying to be mobile, flexible first. Work on your endurance because your heart rate is like at above 160, 170 for like 1.5 hours. So a lot of cardio.
Okay.
And then weight training where you are, because we're not lifting more than 10 5 kgs, 10 kgs, but we're lifting 2 kgs for 1 hour.
Got it.
So it's a very high strength endurance training. It's very different. Yeah.
And you said that you need to be fit into the race.
Yeah.
So diet also plays an important role.
Yeah, diet hand in hand, right? Anything you're trying to do, your diet is most important. Trying to gain weight, lose weight, gain muscle. The only thing is we're a little bit like jockeys where we have to be like trim because the bigger you are, you won't fit. Simple. And the taller you are, it's a more of a problem. So that's why most racing drivers are like between 60 and like 75 kgs weight. Most of them are that. So it's sometimes if the car is designed overweight, they try to tell the driver drop 2 kgs. Even today, when the car is overweight, they don't even paint it to save 500 grams. So weight is very important.
Do you see yourself as a race team owner in the future?
I don't know. It's a different skill set. I think I could because I know most of the processes, most of the way to handle people and manage racing drivers. I think I could. I think that'll be interesting. But it depends which team. We're talking racing, right?
Yeah,
Not
racing.
RCB.
Now, apart from racing,
Yeah.
the main race driver,
Yeah.
the team also revolves around a lot of mechanics, race engineers, and everything. So there might be people who want to get into that aspect of the racing world. Okay. So what would be the ideal approach for that?
So that's a good question because the next best thing from a racing driver is being associated with the team, right? You can be a mechanic, engineer, strategist, or you can be on the manufacturing side, you can be on the design side. So there's, like I said earlier, there's like 1,200, 1,400 people working to design 2 cars. Design 1 car, replicate it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's the first time. I think there's motorsport degrees now in the world. There's motorsport engineering. So someone can, whoever is studying mechanical engineering, they can focus that on motorsport. Then Formula One is an option. World Endurance Championship is an option. Prototypes is an option. So that population of engineering, manufacturing, design is really growing. And I think for someone who always has that itch to race and like, no, I've studied mechanical or something, there's another way to get into the system. And today, so many of these teams are giving like opportunities of internships and like training programs and all that, where they're just trying to get people. So because nowadays in strategy, half the race is one on strategy.
Yeah.
You're being at the right place, the right time, on the right tire. That's like half. Even like in the race and last weekend,
Yes.
there was a debate in driver, the Norris and thing. But yes, you need to be fast. But if you're fast and lucky is the best combination.
Yeah.
But lucky and slow also, you'll inevitably get a few podiums here and there. So and it's both genders. Today, I think 20, 30, 40% of the team is women. I think before it used to be 90, 95. So that ratio is also changing, even in motorsport. So they're making it more inclusive than ever before and reducing the cost.
So is there any particular course in India, like you said, for the motorsport?
Yes, I believe some colleges are offering engineering. So that you can go into detail on material engineering, you can go on into structural engineering, you go into design engineering. So then, because it's so specific, right? You can't just do a blanket engineering because we're every time trying to reduce weight of the car, we're trying to make it more aerodynamic. So there's aerodynamics engineering. Today, with all cars becoming electric or hybrid, you're trying to design the car how slippery it is, so it goes through the air. So that coefficient is very good because you're carrying more weight, more batteries, and you're trying to find any which way you can reduce drag. That's why there's some cars now have no mirrors, there's cameras. You see the rims; they're fully there's full cover to it, so there's no air is not going in. So anywhere you can reduce drag in cars, that's happening. And even if you can't make it to Formula One, there's so many car manufacturers which has a performance division. There, it's the same thing, but it's just a mass volume, making performance cars, trying to make it lighter, faster, more efficient. So I think that engineering, if you're passionate about cars and has an engineering degree, there's more opportunity now than before.
Great. So Akhil, it was wonderful having you here and discussing cars in general and to know about the racing part of your life. So it was wonderful having you. Thank you for being a part of the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's nice to be part and be on this podcast, I think.
So guys, we will be sharing Akhil's profile. Not that he's not unknown here, but do follow him and follow his racing career. And if you think you can sponsor him for his upcoming races, do get in touch with him. See you soon.